Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Lords of the Night. With me, as always, is the Lord of Pain, Ranting Monkey,
Hey guys.
and the Lord of Pennies, Satsu 2 Cents.
What up?
And I got interrupted by my own broadcast because it came live in my ears as I was speaking and totally threw my brain off. And I am your host, Scribe, the Lord of Punishment. Hello, chat. Hello, everyone. Hope everyone is having a good week so far. Before the stream, point curation. Thank you so much. I hope nobody beats themselves up over Smollett. Ah, 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 ah. So, yeah. Hope everyone's well. We will be talking about the wonderful world of Jesse Smollett here shortly. But how are you guys doing? How are you, Satsu?
Pretty good.
Boy, howdy, I guess.
That's right.
All right. And Monkey, how are you in your best, I don't know, backwoods accent?
Oh, I'm too tired for backwoods accent. I just woke up. I didn't mean to even fall asleep. I just went to lay down for a few minutes about an hour and a half ago. And I woke up to Lady Monkey telling me my dinner was ready in here and it was time for the show soon. Like, oh, shit. So I'm well. I'm just a little groggy. How are you, Scribbles?
Is this your hibernation season?
No, dude. I sleep when I can sleep, man.
Yeah. All right. I am doing all right. I spent another day cleaning my apartment up. I've assigned myself to clean or straighten up one room a day to get it all fixed up. I don't exactly live in a episode of Hoarders or anything, but my lazy bachelorhood has gotten the best of me lately, and so it's a little slobby. And I looked around at it the other day and thought, this is not the best reflection of myself that I would prefer, even though I don't have any company coming or anything like that. Something about the space you live in says something about how you kind of self-pride you have. So that has been my project, aside from other things this week so far. So far, it's been productive, except that I had to clean one of the smallest of the bathrooms that I've got here, and there's not really any ventilation, and I had to end up using some bleach stuff, and it really gets concentrated in there, right? And so, in order to counteract this, I took the surplus Israeli gas mask my dad gave me when I was like 13, and I stripped down to nothing. There's a lot of dust in there, and I didn't want to get it all over my clothes. So I was basically running around in my underwear with a gas mask on, scrubbing the walls and cleaning everything up. And I'm sure it was quite a sight if anybody had seen me.
Well, I was about to say congratulations on finding your pride, and then you said that.
Yeah, so I know, right? Well,
never mind.
Like I say, it's a private embarrassment. But still, it came out all well in the wash, so to speak, because now it's all clean and tidy and everything. And I took a shower right afterwards, get all the crud off me, and I'm good. But we have a couple of birthdays. First, and most importantly, Irate and Vanilla Bear's son Reese had a birthday today. And so we have another one shortly thereafter, but I'll get to this one first. We'll get into the intro, and we'll do another one, and then we'll get into the news. So, okay. Monkey, if you would take it away, please.
Reese, I'm sorry your earlier song got deleted. We'll get to that later, guys. But he was there to hear it. This is the full band version of that same song. I hope you had a great birthday, dude. And this one's for you. And a 1 and a 2. Happy birthday to you.
Stop having birthdays.
Happy birthday to you.
Getting older is overrated.
Happy birthday, dear Reese.
Governor.
Stay a kid forever.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Reese. I really do hope you had a great one.
That is really the extent of my my British is hello, governor. Anyway, Monkey Dick, Jim Jones, movies, video games. Please hit that like button if you have not already, and at least half of you haven't. 152 people in, 64 people liked it. Come on, guys. You can do it. Just a little click, one little click to make all of us here happy and help out the show in general. And share our stuff. I think Satsu's the only one that's got something like really recent to share, but we all have stuff to share. We all have libraries full of stuff to look at. I keep being told off to the side that people binge my stuff, which I find like I'm my own little Netflix, and I appreciate that. But yeah. So now we also have a birthday of Failure Bee.
Failure Bee, you say?
Failure Bee. And I will sing them, her, him, I don't know. I will sing them the song of their people. So Monkey.
Oh boy.
Failure Bee. Around these parts, as you might have just heard, we do little songs for their birthday. And since this is your birthday, this one is for you. Oh wait, Failure Bee says I'm a lady. How tall are you? This one's for you. And a 1 and a 2. Happy birthday to you.
Stop dying off.
Happy birthday to you.
Your pollination is important.
Happy birthday, dear Failure Bee.
Also, stop stinging people.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. I hope you had a great one.
Thank you, Three-Sided Coin. Did Satsu tell a kid to stop having birthdays and die? Well, no, Satsu's right here. He's not dead.
That is not quite what I said, but one could interpret it that way.
I see. I see what you mean. And thank you, Terry Diamantis. I hope Irate Son got cutlery for his birthday so he can be Reese with a spoon.
Yikes.
Oh, God.
Yikes.
Has she done anything recently?
No. Other than have a weird-shaped head, that's all she does.
Yeah, I remember. I really liked her in Election and Freeway. Anybody who remembers Freeway with Kiefer Sutherland? Oh, that was a good movie.
I liked her as a can opener in Family Guy.
Oh, yeah. All right. Well, let's see. Anything else before we get into the schnuzz?
Son.
No, I'm good.
All right. Well, then. Can you believe it? Because I certainly can't. Jussie Smollett, all charges dropped.
I knew that he wasn't going to do, like, you know, the full thing. Like, people was talking about how much time he was facing. I'm like, there's no way he's doing a fraction of that. But it'll probably be a slap on the wrist. But I didn't think they were just going to be like, yeah, it didn't happen.
Well,
they didn't even do that.
No, here's the thing. Functionally, and I'm not even being facetious here. Functionally, we are right back to where we were the day after he reported it.
Mm-hmm.
And we will perpetually be there forever because they didn't exonerate him. They didn't say it didn't happen. They just dropped the charges.
Yep. But that still hasn't stopped people from saying he's completely exonerated. We told you he wasn't lying, and you guys should be ashamed of yourselves for accusing him.
Let's see. So this is CNN sort of, and we'll get to some revelatory CNN information here shortly, but right now the story as it is: stunning reversal in Jussie Smollett case leaves many unanswered questions. I don't think it does. I think we're all pretty well aware of what the questions are because they're the same questions that were in existence prior to him being charged with anything. But let's see what CNN has to say about it. Their first question is, how did this happen? That is a good question. The different interpretations of exactly what led to this, I've seen several different theories, but let's see what they say here. The Cook County State's Attorney's Office didn't immediately explain why the 16 counts of felony disorderly conduct were dropped, except to say that the decision came after reviewing the case's facts and in view of Smollett's willingness to forfeit his $10,000 bond. Now, Monkey had the best take on this I saw on Twitter. How did you take that, Monkey?
I think that if he did nothing wrong, he should get that money back.
Otherwise, what would you interpret that as?
An admission of guilt.
Mm-hmm.
Look, what they've them saying, if I get what you're getting. I made several posts about this, so I think I finally know which one you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
If they're saying we're not prosecuting him because he let us keep that money, that's extortion.
Yeah.
That's basically
what Avenatti just got in trouble for yesterday.
Thank you, Three-Sided Coin. It was a trade. No charges on Trump, and Jussie got off. You know, this world is so screwed up, I wouldn't be surprised if that actually happened. Well, I've heard several different theories about behind-the-scenes string pulling, but we'll see what they say here. Quote, after reviewing all of the facts and circumstances of the case, including Mr. Smollett's volunteer service in the community and agreement to forfeit his bond to the city of Chicago, we believe this outcome is a just disposition and appropriate resolution to this case, the state's attorney's office said in a statement. First Assistant State's Attorney Joseph Maggots, I don't know which, the lead prosecutor, said he understood that people would question dropping the charges, but that thousands of cases have similar resolutions. Yeah, but this isn't quite like thousands of other cases, let's be honest.
Thousands of other cases didn't end up on the news for a fucking month straight with people talking about how racist the country was because of it.
Yeah. Yeah, the gravity of the effect of these accusations. I mean, on the country is one thing, but on Chicago in specific, yeah, I don't think the community would, the city would be quite that satisfied with letting this one off, like quote unquote thousands of others.
Well, Chicago PD's pissed. So.
Oh yeah, no, we'll get to that. Magat said the charges would not have been dropped without the bond forfeiture and the community service factor. Okay, so you are saying that you took the money and he paid off getting charged. Okay.
Yeah.
He added that Smollett had no prior felonies and wasn't a danger to the community. Well, I don't know. A sociopath might be. Oh, what do I know?
That's fine, but why clear his record?
That was the other thing. Expunging his record doesn't make any sense. When asked whether he considered Smollett to be innocent, the prosecutor told CNN affiliate WLS, no. Quote, he was prosecuted. It may not have been the disposition that everybody thought would occur. He did do community service. He did forfeit $10,000. It's a fair and just disposition in the case.
One, you guys haven't told us what this community service is, and his community service that he performed before the crime.
Well, we've been told since then what the community service was. Apparently, he performed some kind of community service. I believe it was 16 hours with Jesse Jackson's charity.
And when was this?
In the last couple of weeks or something.
Oh, okay.
I guess. What did Smollett have to say about it? Well, I listened to his speech, and it's a load of horse shit, is what it is. But anyway, after a brief appearance in a Chicago courtroom, Smollett told reporters he was grateful to those who stood by him and that he wouldn't have put his family through a fire like this for a lie. Quote, I have been truthful and consistent on every single level since day one. No, you haven't. And said in a short statement, quote, I would not be my mother's son if I was capable of one drop of what I've been accused of, unquote. His comments came weeks after he was indicted by a grand jury. Smollett had pleaded not guilty and denied any involvement in orchestrating the attack, despite all witness testimony to the contrary. Smollett called himself a man of faith. He vowed to continue to fight for the justice, equality, and betterment of marginalized people everywhere. What about the two guys that you set up to be fall guys for your little stunt? Rahm Emanuel and Johnson, the police superintendent or whatever, spoke at a news conference later, reacting angrily to the latest developments. Quote, "From top to bottom, this is not on the level. You have a person using hate crime laws that are on the books to promote himself," Emanuel said. Is there no decency in this man?" And Johnson said, quote, "If you want to say you're innocent of the situation, you take your day in court. I would never hide behind a brokered deal in secrecy, period." The superintendent said police learned about the drop charges when the news was made public. They had no warning, apparently. Here's the third question that CNN unfortunately has to ask, I suppose. Are the perpetrators of the attack still out there?
Nobody has to ask that.
Thank you, Three-Sided Coin. If Rom is calling you a crook, that's bad.
No shit.
Yeah, to be damned by the devil? Yeah, okay. Smollett's attorneys maintain that he was indeed attacked in Chicago on January 29th. The actor reported to police that two white men? You always leave that out for some reason. I don't quite understand that. Assaulted him near the lower entrance of a Lowe's hotel around 2 a.m. as he was walking back from getting something to eat. Smollett, who plays a gay character on the Fox drama, Okay, said the attackers yelled "Empire!" F-word and "Empire" N-word while striking him, police said. The incident ended with a noose around his neck and bleach poured on him. The actor also said one of the men shouted, "This is MAGA country," a reference to President Donald Trump's Make America Great Again slogan. Police initially investigated the case as a possible hate crime. After police detained and interviewed two brothers described as persons of interest in the case in mid-February, Johnson said authorities suspected Smollett knew the men and allegedly paid them to stage the attack. Police said the brothers attacked Smollett at the actor's direction. The men were released without being charged. On Tuesday, Smollett attorney Patricia Brown Holmes insisted the brothers, who she said were the actor's fitness trainers, were the attackers. Wait a second. Hold on. Wait a second. I'm going to read that again. On Tuesday, Smollett attorney Patricia Brown Holmes insisted the brothers, who she said were the actor's fitness trainers, were the attackers.
Yes.
Quote, "The two brothers have said that they attacked him," she said, "but we don't want to try them in the press any more than Smollett wanted to be," she said.
Huh?
She's blaming them, saying that they did it without his direction.
Yeah. Thank you, P-Dog Knight. 2 words. Nika, please help me out, Satsu. Yeah, well, I don't know what happens if we say bad words on here, and I don't want to risk getting demonetized or some crazy other thing these days. So, self-censorship, but not willingly. Next, what happens to the brothers? That is a good question, because if the attorneys for the victim are saying they did it, and the guys themselves said that they did it, I don't think they can't yet still be charged.
So are they actually truly planning on letting him get away with faking a hate crime and them getting away with assault?
Well, that's what I'm wondering.
At the same time?
Ola, again, I'm going to fuck up these names, which obviously means I'm racist. Ola Bino and Amibola Ozandario have expressed, quote, tremendous regret for their involvement in what police called a staged attack. Quote, they understand how it has impacted people across the nation, particularly minority communities, and especially those who have been victims of hate crimes themselves, Gloria Schmidt, an attorney for the brothers, said earlier this month. Police allege that Smollett paid them $3,500 by check to stage the attack. Investigators believe Smollett orchestrated the attack, quote, because he was dissatisfied with his salary, Johnson said, citing information that the brothers gave to police. The brothers cooperated fully with the investigation and were no longer suspects, Chicago police said. They were released without charges after being arrested last month. Well, then obviously Smollett's attorneys are going to press charges against the two brothers, won't they?
Well, they're black, so no, you can't do that.
That's the thing. If Jesse wants to pretend that this attack wasn't part of something he did, then yeah, he would have to press charges against them.
Let's see. Why did Smollett forfeit his bond? It may have been a strategic move. The Cook County State's Attorney's Office cited Smollett's agreement to forfeit his bond as a factor in explaining why the charges were dropped. But Emmanuel told reporters that the $10,000 bond, quote, doesn't even come close to what the city spent investigating the alleged attack, unquote.
Yep.
Could the case be unsealed? Parts of the case have been sealed, one of Smollett's attorneys said. Holmes did not provide details about the order, only saying that the state dropped the charges and moved to, quote, seal the record in this case. Whether or not the case files remain sealed, we may never know what actually happened, or whether or not all the case files, yeah. So, yeah, this is bullshit, and it does nothing to exonerate him. This is on the same side as people saying, like, oh, well, the Mueller didn't find collusion, therefore there's still evidence of collusion. Yeah, but at least that was thoroughly investigated by a criminal prosecutor and submitted for assessment. We don't even get to see the evidence. We don't even get to see everything else. They just drop the charges, period. Yeah, so we're back exactly right where we were the 3 days after he reported the attack, and right back to the very first show that we did at that point, where we went over the story bit by bit and said, no, this makes absolutely no sense. And even the statements of his own attorneys now are so convoluted and bullshit. But he keeps his job. And the people at Fox are gratified the charges were dropped.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's weird. It's like everything is acknowledged. Everything is acknowledged. Everything that we think he did, they're going, yeah, he did that. But he's letting us keep 10 grand. So,
But here's the thing. Here's the sleeping giant. Potentially, but given how this thing went, I wouldn't be surprised at anything at this stage of the game. There's still the matter of the letter. Now,
yes,
the letter,
which is still being investigated.
Yeah, the letter sent to the Empire set that had the threats against Smollett's life and contained a white powder, well, that was sent through the mail. That makes it a federal matter. And also it makes it a terroristic threat. Even if it's a hoax, it's a federal crime. Now, will the feds fully investigate this, and will they take the information the Chicago police already gathered into consideration, and will they actually follow up with federal charges against Smollett? Don't know. No idea. The way this went today, who knows? But I'll tell you what, I don't think Jesse, if the feds decide to move forward with anything, I don't think Jesse's Hollywood connections are going to get him out of this one. But we may never know. They might never do anything with it, so... you get away with it because I guess you're rich and famous. I don't know.
And also gay and black.
The only other thing that I thought about when this happened, I thought, essentially what the Smollett camp is saying and what anybody defending him is saying is that everyone on the Chicago police force who went down to the nitty-gritty to find all the information, to create a timeline, to investigate, to question, to gather evidence, all of them were lying.
Mm-hmm.
They were all working against him. It was all one big conspiracy to set up Jesse Smollett for something he didn't do, except that he did do it. And even the people involved say he did it. And there's evidence to show that he did it. And a grand jury brought an indictment against him for it. The police were dead sure enough about it to make a public statement, and on and on and on. But is it a conviction? No, it isn't. He hasn't been convicted at trial. Innocent till proven guilty. Sure. But we're back to the same suspicion that we had, like I said, 24 hours after the fact. And forever will it be. But it doesn't matter, I guess. So there you go.
The only one who's proclaiming his innocence at this point is still him.
Yes.
His lawyer doesn't do it. His lawyer just is like, well, he wasn't really involved. The prosecutor, they're like, well, we think he did it. And the judge is like, yeah, he did it, but he would have just got community service anyway. So
right.
So no big deal.
Six of one thing, half a dozen of the other. Well,
Like I said, the only real problem I have with this, and look, it's bullshit anyway, but defendants get off with shit all the time. And most people thought he was just going to get community service anyway. The only part that really fucking bugs me is that they just wiped his record clean.
Yeah.
Because part of what they said here is, well, he didn't have any felonies. Well, now he still doesn't.
Yeah. He just it's sort of like when someone's caught having been in the country illegally, it's like, but he has no criminal record.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I hate to tell you this, but evading authorities for a certain amount of time does not equate to being innocent of a crime.
Yeah. So the
anyway.
other shit, I mean, I'm not that surprised by it, but the wiping of the record, that's part of like, what the fuck were y'all doing?
Thank you, non vitae rex, and friends with the right people. So it seems. Yeah. There's something very shady going on in the background. When the mayor's office and the police department and even the prosecutor's office are all certain that he's not actually innocent of the crime, and yet he's still walking, that does a disservice to so many people on so many levels, not the least of which people who would stage a hoax and drive further racial tension into not only Chicago, for God's sakes, but the country at large.
I'll be surprised if this doesn't get unsealed.
Well, who knows? Thank you, Sanguine. This is Hillary level BS. We all know you did what you did and that you are guilty as hell, but no charges are needed. Bugger these proxy wretches over a barrel with a hot poker, as crooked as they are. Yeah. Well, anyway, it's a mini OJ after a fashion.
Yeah. I just get really annoyed at the fact that, that narrative was still successfully pushed. They still pushed America's a racist, horrible place, and this is Trump's America, and this is the horrible shit that we have to deal with daily. And like, it didn't happen. Yeah. And to add insult to injury, here we are now. They're like, well, we're 100% certain it didn't happen. But not only are we not going to acknowledge that, we're just kind of going to pretend like it didn't happen at all.
Thank you. Lawyer Dog, search Abel Ozandario Boxing on YouTube. Oh, has it got videos of the brothers or whatever? I guess just to wrap it up, the thing that bugs me the most about this and so many other situations similar to it, I hate it when bullies get away with the shit that they do. And make no mistake, Jesse Smollett is a bully. He bullied innocent people. He villainized and demonized people that had nothing to do with his situation. And he's a liar. I mean, I don't know what else to say. He's a liar. Whether or not he's been convicted of a crime, given the information that we have, given his changing story, given the facts that are known, he is not an honest person. But he gets to keep his freedom. He gets to keep his record, at least on paper, because the internet never forgets, And he still has his $1 zillion job or whatever. So
I wonder if he's getting a raise.
I wonder that too, because I wonder if this actually ended up working for him in the end, like to save face, Empire will raise his salary by $1 million or something. Thank you, Sarah Plyer. Just wanted to thank everyone for the good vibes. The streams help relieve the pain. I hate hospitals. Love you guys. Heal up, Sarah.
Yeah, feel better.
Take care.
You can put this in on his acting resume.
Oh God! Speaking
put that clip in there.
Speaking of hospitals and stuff, want to also extend good wishes out to Bloodwing and his family as he heals up. I believe last I heard he's been released. I think he's been released from the hospital, or is it just in ICU right now? And he's on observation or at home healing. I forget which one it is. Also, I'm putting into the chat the link to Moonshock's GoFundMe for his cancer expenses. Of the $5,000 goal as of this moment, the collected is at $1,112. So I'll check in on that again as the show continues. Anyway, we spent almost the entire news time on that, but there is one thing I want to get to. We'll run over a little bit into MSS news time, but we'll make up for it. I want to talk about CNN real quick because the president of CNN said something today. He said something today that, in so many words, we here at Lords of the Night have been saying probably the entirety of people doing the show. CNN President Jeff Zucker defends network's coverage of the Mueller probe. Now, how did he defend this? I'm going to read this quote. I'm not going to read much else because the quote really is the story, and we can talk about it, and then we'll move on to MSS News. So remember, this is the president of CNN quote, "We are not investigators. We are journalists, and our role is to report the facts as we know them, which is exactly what we did," Zucker said. I want you to consider that for a second. We are not investigators. We are journalists. And now my phone is beeping at me, as it always does. 1 second, guys. Sorry.
Sure.
Either I get to stay or I get to...
What about an investigative journalist?
Well, that's the thing. There's a whole section on CNN's website called CNN Investigates. And also the notion that you're a journalist, but you don't investigate. What is journalism but to, at least in philosophical spirit, seek the truth? What is journalism but asking questions? Otherwise, all you are is just a parrot. All you are is just reading a press release and regurgitating it out to the public. Real quick, thank you, Cryptic. Good old Cuck News Network. Yeah, no shit.
It's not even necessarily just that for them. I mean, we talked about this morning. CNN, they just read other people's news these days. How often have we read a CNN article that says, according to the Washington Post?
Yep.
I mean, that's what they do now, is tell us what the Washington Post says, which by that standard, this show right here is a news show.
Yeah. I mean, and I've said it, I can't count how many times CNN has turned into a blog site. Even its broadcast news is effectively a live blogging site. I mean, we read Chris Cillizza. We read stories that say, according to the Washington Post. We read, sources say, yada, 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 yada. I said it before the election. Familiar with the matter. Yeah, I said it before the election. I said it just after. After Trump becomes president, more than ever, CNN will become Gawker. And it has. I mean, at least except for the window dressing, it is effectively Gawker now. It's just like, whatever sells, etc. And, in the face of Jeff Zucker's confirmation of what we've all kind of known for a long time, every post I saw today from Chris Cillizza, I couldn't help but look at that and thought, really? Dude, you're not going to say something about this? I mean, not even to be a little self-aware about what you've been doing and what the nature of your own outlet is, really? Because I want to jump slightly just for a moment over to a point of fuckatry I found today. So Chris tweets this out. I'm not going to read it because I don't really care, but it's his latest edition of The Point. And the tweet says, Donald Trump just made sure healthcare will decide the 2020 election. And I tweeted him back and I said, is that your investigative opinion, Chris, or your journalistic one? Anyway, did you guys have any other news? I'm sure there's plenty of stuff that'll come out in MSS News, because there are some stories that happened today that I didn't get to, but we ran out of time. So,
well, the big one today was Smollett, so no, not really.
Okay. Well, if nobody gets to the other one that I was going to bring up, or the other two, I'll bring them up elsewise. But anyway, guys, if you have news stories you'd like us to bring up on the air, please send them to us via Twitter using the hashtag MSSNews. Can't promise we'll get to them all, but that's only because I'll probably lose my voice in the course of things. So let's see. We'll see how many people sent us the Jussie story. Okay, let's see. We talked about that one. Oh, here we go. Corey Suzuki sends us the one that I was going to talk about. Thank you, Sanguine. CNN, other people's news with new typos, grammar errors, and even more insane opinions.
You're not wrong.
And it's no better or worse than us, effectively. Mm-hmm. Although I like to think we're a bit more level-headed than CNN.
We have far fewer grammar errors than they do.
Well, we don't write our stuff out on this show. We flub our words from time to time.
And that's why, Scribe. That's why we have far less grammar.
That's right. You can't see punctuation when they're talking. Anyway, Corey sends us this one. This was hilarious. Senate rejects Ocasio-Cortez's Green New Deal in 57-0 vote.
Damn.
The Green New Deal failed to pass a procedural vote in the Senate Tuesday, with Democrats slamming the GOP motion as a sham, and with 2 exceptions voting present in protest. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell put the ambitious plan to create jobs. It's not a plan. It really isn't much of anything you could call a plan. But anyway, plan to create jobs and improve the environment to a vote to force Democrats to take a public stand on the measure and try to divide the party's moderates and progressives. Yes.
It's now a job creation plan?
According to the New York Post.
When the fuck did that happen?
I suppose if you have to reformat all buildings in the country, you're going to need people to do that.
Yeah, that was the idea behind the new Green Deal and a lot of the shit, the big heavy stuff that they were planning on doing. She was saying that it was going to create a fuck ton of jobs. Yeah, because somebody was going to have to do it.
The final vote was 57 against and no one for the plan, with 43 Democrats voting present.
Which is funny.
Red State Democratic Senators Joe Manchin of West Virginia and Kristen Sinema of Arizona voted no. Quote, I could not be more glad that the American people will have the opportunity to learn precisely where each one of the senators stand on the Green New Deal, a radical top-down socialist makeover of the entire U.S. economy, McConnell tweeted. Democrats, including New York's Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, called the vote a political stunt. AOC, you are a political stunt.
A literal walking, breathing one.
Holy cow, lady, really? Quote, the GOP's whole game of wasting votes in Congress to target others on the record for they have no legislation, I think is their shorthand. For legislation they have no intent to pass is a disgrace. Stop wasting the American people's time and learn to govern. Our jobs aren't for campaigning, and that's exactly what these bluff votes are for.
They held the vote.
I don't know. When I think of someone who's governing, I think of a governor or like the president. When I think of a representative, I think that they're legislating. Is that also considered governing, I guess? I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
I guess, okay. I was trying to be a gotcha for the moment, but oh well. Semitic game. Let's see. Moving on. So the Democrats, why didn't they vote yes? If they thought they were going to lose anyway, why not vote yes?
I don't understand if they back it, why didn't they vote yes?
Yeah. I mean, even if they're going to be outvoted by the Republicans, they want this to be one of the issues that can be used as a wedge in 2020. Maybe I missed something in the article. I don't understand why they didn't vote yes.
Well, here, realistically speaking, I got a question for both of you. Mm-hmm. Would you want to be the one Democrat that voted yes?
If I actually believed in it, yes.
I wouldn't want to be. Because you're basically saying, I don't want a career anymore. Like, that's essentially what that's saying. Because nobody's stupid enough to actually buy this shit. And they know that. But they have to still keep the image up. So they're like, we'll just stay behind. But if you say yes, like, realistically, like you're like standing out and you're like, I do truly believe in this, they're gonna be like, well, congratulations, you don't have a job anymore.
Well, I see what you're getting at, the politics side of it. However, now I'm with Scribe here. If this was something I truly believed in, I'd be like, yeah, I believe in this. And I'm guessing that most senators who would vote that way, it's not like their constituents don't know that they're, radical left.
Yeah. So I don't know. The way I see it, because I'm a bit more cynical, is if these people were the type to vote for the things that they truly believe in and speak honestly on the things that they really believe in, then we wouldn't be finding out by proximity that they're all crazy fucking racist and do all types of crazy shit like that. Like, we wouldn't be finding out about this shit because they'd be doing shit that reflects that. But they all vote the way they know they're supposed to. Well, so we see what we're supposed to see.
There's 2 ways you can look at this. Either you look at it and say they don't actually believe in it, and so any one of those guys who didn't vote yes and still either previously or in the future supports it is a hypocrite. Or because they're so scared, like Satsu says, of some kind of backlash over supporting it against a Republican majority, that makes them politically cowards.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Well, they
there's really no winning in this for the Democrats not to have voted yes, because even if here's the thing, if they voted yes and it was going to lose anyway, nobody would talk about it. It would just be sort of like, well, the vote went down party lines and, now it goes back into committee or something. Nobody would have talked about it. It would have been forgotten within a week or something else. But now they can point to this forever and say, at their first opportunity to show support for this Green New Deal, they all said no. Or they all backed out, I guess I should say. So,
well, maybe nobody would have talked about it, but I think they would have talked about the person who voted.
Thank you, Sanguine. So stop wasting time and money over voting for a bill that was never meant to be law. AOC. Also AOC, I drafted paid people to draft a bill I never meant to be law, unquote. Yeah.
But stop wasting that time.
Yeah, stop wasting that time. And speaking of money, AOC, how's your slush fund?
There's a great thing on Twitter. I was going to save it for Fucketry, but since this came up, AOC on Twitter, I forget who it was, some Republican asked, why did the Democrats all vote present? And AOC said, because I asked them to.
Oh.
Yeah.
She controls all the House Democrats?
Well, the Senate Democrats. This was a Senate vote.
Sorry, you're right. The Senate. I misspoke. Sorry.
Let me find that exact platform or thing. Where is it?
Before you look at it, thank you, Cryptic. Republicans already making ads about them bitches. Oh yeah, no, the Republican ad machine is rich with material right now between Mueller and this and whatever happens tomorrow. Yeah.
It was Senator John Barrasso who said, "Why did Senate Democrats just duck a vote on your new Green Deal?" And Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez replied, because I encouraged them to vote present, along with others. McConnell tried to rush the Green New Deal straight to the floor without a hearing. The real question is why we should be asking, why does the GOP Senate refuse to hold any major hearings on climate change?
No, the real question is then why wasn't your Green New Deal ready for prime time before you offered it up? I mean,
what you're saying by why wasn't there a committee? So it sucks and needs to be fixed is what you're saying.
Well, I mean, can you imagine if, how often is it that somebody's first draft legislation, which is usually their pie in the sky biggest wish list?
Yeah.
How often does that ever get fast tracked like that in the Senate? That would be.
Oh, it doesn't.
Yeah, exactly. It would be a godsend. I mean, almost everything goes through at least 17 rounds of committee hearings. And by the time it comes out for vote, it looks nothing like what the person originally wanted it to. But hey, that's government. In this instance, technically, I mean, even though you would have lost the vote, but if you'd voted for it, the Democrats or otherwise, you would be voting for everything you ever wanted flat out.
Yeah.
Technically. But apparently she said, no, vote present. Because you don't believe in it.
I encourage them. Right. You did it, eh, bitch?
Yeah. All right.
Ms. Pelosi,
Anyway.
what do you think about the power of AOC?
Oh, God. That'll be funny. This one comes up. Thank you, Cryptic. The bitch just said her bill was shit. Yeah. For all intents and purposes, AOC doesn't believe in the integrity of her own bill. And neither do any of the Senate Democrats. I don't know. This might strike the death knell of the Green New Deal as anything worth talking about now. So, moving on. Froggy sends us this one. 4 spring breakers fight off armed would-be mugger at gas station. Okay. Someone thought they had an easy mark. A Chad, a Brad, a Tad, and a Thad. Are those really their names? Okay. Standing at a gas station, clad standard frat boy attire. Wait, standing at it. Let me try that again. A Chad, a Brad, a Tad, and a Thad standing at a gas station, clad maybe in standard frat boy attire. That might make more sense. 4 seemingly easily scared white boys with enough money in their lives that they'd happily part with some so as not to spend their final moments bleeding out on the filthy concrete of a Florida gas station. That did not turn out to be the case. The 4 young men who found themselves on the mean end of a Florida man's gun decided that, no, damn it, you can't have our margarita money. This was their spring break, and if anyone was going to be committing crimes, it was going to be them. So the 4 guys fought back and won. What the fuck are you trying to say here? These guys didn't have a right to defend themselves because you think they were spoiled rich boys?
I don't know, but keep reading because
This
I
is
don't.
so weird.
I'm trying to find the point too.
The 4 guys from Indiana were lucky. They were dealing with an objectively terrible criminal here. The would-be robber had a gun and still walked right up to the 4 spring breakers, close enough that they could reach out and grab him, which they almost immediately did. It's a gun, buddy. It'll work from a distance. You're giving the guy tips now on how to best rob these guys? Okay. The whole point of it is to use it from a distance. If people wanted to keep hurting each other up close, we'd have skipped guns and just gone on making progressively more badass swords. We might have even gotten to lightsabers by now. But at some point, people were like, it'd be advantageous for us if we could hurt our enemies from a distance. What the fuck is this?
What?
This is from someplace called rare.us. I have no idea, but they're turning this guy threatened to kill these guys and they defended themselves and stopped the robber and no one got hurt. And somehow they're wrong and the robbers just should have tried harder.
Well, the only time I've heard the words Chad, Dad, and all those from incels. That's the word that they give to the good-looking guys who actually get laid. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm wondering if that's part of this.
That was a bizarre recitation of events, but I guess that person is either jealous. He's angry at the robber for not doing a better job of holding up these white guys that he doesn't like. I guess that's what I take from that story.
Yeah, he didn't beat up them Chads well enough.
Anyway, moving on. This one comes from senior staff reporter and chief Florida correspondent Colleen Bernier. Florida homeless man calls cops to report he paid for sex but got scammed. I would love to hear the 911 call of that one. Florida cops say a man who called 911 to report a crime appeared to forget he was admitting to one himself. John Omar Sengul, 50, was arrested after he allegedly volunteered to police that he'd paid 4 people $500 for at least one of them to come to his Days Inn hotel room to engage in sexual activities. Okay, Sengul, who is reportedly homeless, called 911 on March 22nd after the people he said he paid never showed up to his West Palm Beach hotel room. An officer arrived at the hotel where Sengul explained the situation and confirmed he was soliciting another person for sex. He said he decided to call police when he realized he'd been scammed. Sengul was arrested and charged with 1 count of soliciting a prostitute. It wasn't immediately clear if cops ever tracked down the alleged scammers.
So, this homeless man coughed up like $2,000 to random people?
Oh, $500.
I thought he said $500 a piece to 4 different people. That's what I thought you said.
No, he paid 4 people $500.
Oh, okay. I was like,
okay. I'm with you now.
It also wasn't known how the homeless Sengul came by $500 to allegedly pay for sex, but he was able to post bail another $500 and secure his release from jail Sunday too. Okay, well, you got $1,000 to blow. To get blown?
You know what? I feel really bad. Even the homeless people in California got more money than I do.
That was Florida.
Oh, that was Florida? Oh, okay. Damn,
No,
even Florida now. Now I feel worse.
Okay, this one comes from Frosted Glass from the Guardian UK. Tory MP criticized for using anti-Semitic term cultural Marxism.
It's not anti-Semitic.
That's... Okay, I need somebody to explain to me how that is anti-Semitic. A leading Jewish group has criticized a conservative former minister for using the term cultural Marxism in a speech, a reference to a conspiracy theory often associated with the far right and anti-Semitism?
No,
often associated.
What the fuck?
Cultural Marxism, far right? First off, what? And then anti-Semitism, what? I've never heard that before. Is that even a thing? Honestly, I'm not being facetious. Every time I've heard of cultural Marxism, it's been in reference to the extreme left.
Exactly what it is. It's you hear it most. The person I hear say it most is Jordan Peterson. And it's about the culture war and how we're turning way too far to the left instead of, being smart.
Well, maybe that's why they're saying it's an alt-right term, because I'm so tired of the phrase. What is it? Often used by.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm so sick of that shit. I'm so tired of seeing that in papers where they're like, this thing is completely 100% representative of this thing because it is often used by this group of people. Like,
okay, so
cut it out.
Joe Mulhall, if I'm saying that correctly, senior researcher at Hope Not Hate, said, quote, "This is deeply disturbing and disappointing language to hear from a conservative MP. In fact, it's worrying that a mainstream politician would even have heard of such a phrase, which is usually championed by those on the extreme right. Cultural Marxism was," he said, quote, "a conspiracy laden with anti-Semitic undertones that had been cited both by Breivik and the man who shot 50 people at mosques in Christchurch." Okay, so because it's been used to criticize the left, it is therefore a right-wing talking point.
Yes.
Far right.
Far right.
Far right.
Asinine is what it is, Scribe.
Oh yeah, and as you can see, they're going to use this that dude, the Christchurch shooter or whatever. They're going to use him for everything that he's worth. Everything that he said, I want to manipulate people and get them to use this. They're like, thank you for the ammunition, because we're going to tie everything that happens from this day forth to what you did. So we appreciate it.
Okay, I'm going to go to a different site here real quick. What is cultural Marxism? Cultural Marxism can be a controversial term. Some assert there's no such thing, and others use the term as a catch-all for anything they see as undermining society. In short, cultural Marxism is a revolutionary leftist idea that traditional culture is the source of oppression in the modern world. Cultural Marxism is often linked to an insistence upon political correctness, multiculturalism, and perpetual attacks on the foundations of culture: the nuclear family, marriage, patriotism, traditional morality, law and order, etc. Cultural Marxists are assumed to be committed to establishing economic Marxism, in which case their cultural attacks are a necessary preparation for their ultimate goal.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. Let's see. Unfortunately, various conspiracy theorists and anti-Semitic groups also use the term cultural Marxism to promote their belief in the Illuminati or to blame the Jews for society's ills. Such misuses of the term do not negate the existence of an intellectual movement to destabilize society from within. So that's another interpretation on it. Anyway.
They also use the word "the" sometimes. I've heard them use "and" every now and then.
Let's see. This one comes from Check Your Logic. Pursuit suspect breaks out in breakdancing just before arrest.
All right.
That's one way to do it. Los Angeles. Law breaking turned into breakdancing at the end of a Southern California vehicle pursuit. TV news helicopters were overhead Tuesday night when a suspect pursued by the California Highway Patrol finally surrendered, but broke out into a 10-second dance before being handcuffed. The pursuit began in the Calabasas area, probably saying that incorrectly, and headed east on US 101 into Los Angeles, then north on Interstate 405, where the motorist exited the freeway in the San Fernando Valley. A CHP cruiser finally bumped the car and spun it out. The driver got out with his hands up, but did not appear to be fully complying with officers pointing guns at him. As the scene became illuminated by a law enforcement helicopter spotlight, the driver suddenly busted a move before being busted. So he had the spotlight on him, and he does some breakdance. Thank you, Snubber. The previous article, those are also words by black feminists who to entitle whites. Remember, they said white boys. What do you mean, cultural Marxism? Or the previous article? Do you mean the one about the guys getting held up? I'm confused now. Sorry.
I think you meant the cultural Marxism one.
Yeah, I've heard cultural Marxism in many instances that have absolutely nothing to do with. Until this article, I'd never heard that it had any connotation in any sphere of being anti-Semitic.
No, that's just a popular talking point right now. Being anti-Semitic is the focus of the political sphere, and there's been what people have been talking about. So they're like, let's just tie it to that. Whatever. It's nobody's gonna look or pay attention and see if it's true. Doesn't matter.
Let's see. Thank you, Snubber. Sorry, it was the Rogue article. Super chat is buggy. The Rogue article? I don't know what that is. I'm sorry. the Rouge, the Rogue article. I don't know. What am I? I don't know what that is. This one comes from Tartan Witch. Dog pursuit sends naked woman across I-95 in Florida.
Why did she have to be naked?
Flagler County, Florida. You never know what you'll see in Florida. Richard Griffin of Titusville says he and his wife were driving north on I-95 in Flagler County Friday when they saw a man and a woman running across the road. But as they got closer, they saw that the woman had no clothes on. Griffin said she was naked from head to toe and trying to round up a dog. I really don't want to know what she was doing with the dog. So he had to slow down and grab his phone. Quote, "Not one bit of nothing," said Griffin. "She has nothing on her whatsoever. Man, I could not believe my eyes. That's why I took a video, just so I could say to myself, this really happened." Griffin says
that's not why you did it.
Yeah, well, it depends on how she was looking, but I don't know.
Because it was a naked woman.
Griffin says the pair then ran back across the 3 southbound lanes and safely made it back to their car with the dog. And of course, it's a mystery why the woman had no clothes on. Probably because they were driving. She was giving him some road loving, and the dog got out of the car when they pulled over to start fucking. That's my guess. Thank you, Snowbird. The guys in the mugger. Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't know the Rogue article. I didn't know what that meant. I'm sorry.
I'm back.
You were gone?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Let's see. This one comes from Tall Person. We'll do a couple more, guys. Harvard creates safe space for dorm residents by removing portrait of building's namesake.
What?
All right.
The quote at the top of the article, "We shouldn't have to see him while we're eating Cheerios." Okay. Few university leaders who served before World War II and few after that would satisfy the increasingly woke demands of today's student activists. So many white males, so many views that were mainstream for their time. What is that?
What's what?
You're like a ripping sound or something.
Oh, that was me scooting forward in my chair.
Oh, okay. The latest victim of the historical purge at elite universities is the Harvard University president responsible for creating its house system. Abbott Lowell's removal is particularly telling because he never accomplished his proposal to cap Jewish admissions. Oh. In contrast, more recent Harvard administrations have successfully capped Asian American admissions. The Harvard Crimson reports that portraits of Lowell and his wife will be removed from the residence hall that bears his name when it reopens to students in the fall. The portraits hung in Lowell House's dining hall before renovations started. When it opens, there will be no mention of President Lowell whatsoever, not even a plaque or a bust. David Labson and Nina Zipser, faculty deans of Lowell House, formerly known as Masters, another victim of Harvard's debilitating sensitivities. Remember Masters? You can't be called Masters anymore because it reminds of slavery.
Oh, yeah.
Told residents Friday that students shouldn't have to see Abbott and Anna, quote, in such a prominent space, unquote.
Okay.
Harvard is still trying to reduce race feeling, unquote, among the student body, but it uses the language of holistic admission to cap the percentage of students of Asian descent in the low 20s. Holistic admission?
Holistic.
I addressed this in the affirmative action video I did, where they use the word holistic. So holistic, and I'm doing a very rough definition, means in regards to the whole of a person and not a part. except when you're doing admissions based on race, you're not doing a holistic admission system. You're not, because you're filtering people on a part of them. So I keep being very perplexed by this word holistic being used when it comes to college admissions, when either your skin color or your parents' bank account is really the factor at hand. Thank you, Cryptic. Asians are the new white/Jews douchebags. I guess. I don't know. I don't understand half this shit most of the time anyway. And thank you, Frosted Glass. Abbott and Anna will be replaced with Abbott and Costello. I think they were both Jewish, though. Oh, wait, that's a good thing now, right? I don't know. I can't tell. Let's see. We'll do a couple more here. Got Jesse Smollett from Chicago Mite. Jesse Smollett from Jack Cochran. Let's see. Which one's this? Oh, okay. How about this one? This one comes from Chaos Eve. Kamala Harris unveils $315 billion plan to boost teacher pay. Okay. The California Democrats' presidential campaign said the proposal would be paid for with unspecified changes to the estate tax. I'm a wild guess. Raising it?
Unspecified.
Yeah, unspecified.
We're going to raise that money by lowering.
Yeah, we're gonna change the estate tax by raising it. Let's see. In the first major policy rollout of her presidential campaign, Senator Kamala Harris, Democrat, California, on Tuesday unveiled a plan. Oh, a plan. Okay.
Wait. An unspecified, detailed plan.
Hold on. Unveiled a plan to spend hundreds of billions of dollars to boost teacher salaries. Billed as, quote, the largest investment in teachers in American history, the plan would devote $315 billion in federal funding over the next 10 years. So $31 billion a year, guys, towards programs that would subsidize pay for public K-12 educators and reward state and local governments for raising them even higher. Quote, it would be paid... Sorry, I skipped down a bit. It would be paid for by as yet unspecified changes to the estate tax, which currently applies only to inheritances over $11.4 million for individuals and $22.8 million for married couples. Oh, so you're going to lower the requirement or lower the minimum, I assume.
I have something for that for fucketry, so I'm going to keep my mouth closed for now.
Thank you, James Colley. If this is the case, shalom, Cryptic. Oh, har, 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 har. Quote, we must acknowledge this simple truth. We are a country that claims to care about education, but not so much about the education of other people's children. Wait, what?
You heard her right.
Okay. Harris said in a Washington Post op-ed outlining her proposal. According to the Harris campaign, the goal is to eventually increase teacher pay by an average of $13,500 per person, putting it in line with typical salaries for other employees with college degrees. Why would you want a teacher who doesn't already have a college degree in like education or teaching or whatever their subject is?
Well, what she's saying is other people who have college degrees make more money.
Oh, okay. Campaign materials pointed to research by the left-leaning Economic Policy Institute that found that teachers make 11% less than college-educated workers on average in combined salary and benefits. Okay. Under the California senator's plan, the federal government would finance 10% of the total pay increase for the first year and then pay out $3 to states for every dollar they put into additional salaries. That's okay. You first have to tell us how you're going to fund it. Like, how are you going to take the estate tax?
An unspecified plan, Scribe.
Yeah, an unspecified, detailed plan.
Well, the only detail that makes the estate tax bring in more money is if you lower the minimum amount of money that qualifies to be taxed on the estate tax. So
or raise the percentage.
Or raise the percentage, true. I have a feeling let's see, what would be more palatable on the Democratic side of the aisle? Probably raising the percentage.
Either would work for them. I mean, because they don't believe that you should be making or that you should get money that your parents worked for anyway.
Yeah, I mean, if they lowered the minimum requirement, or I guess to, I don't know, $10 million instead of 11.4, that'd bring in a whole slew more money. I don't know if it'd bring in like $315 billion over 10 years, but I don't know. Anyway, okay, let me check here. We talked about that one, and that's stuff I posted. Oh, okay. I'm gonna save this one for deep topic time when we get to it. Okay, well, guys, thank you so much for all the stories. Sorry I didn't get to everything, but we went long on Jesse and other things, so that's just them's the breaks, as it were. So on to YouTube time. I'll go first because I don't have a whole lot. I worked on my script again today. Finally figured out a good closing for the script of the next video. I recorded audio for it, but I'm not sure if I'm satisfied with the outcome of it. There was a lot of background noise going on in my neighborhood at the time, so I'm not sure if some of that got caught on there. So I might have to re-record it, but I'm closer to putting something together. But yeah, that's what I did today. So Satsu.
Finishing up my schedule for me juggling all three of these channels, and I have a kind of sit down kind of vlog coming up for the Fam 2 Cents channel. A couple topics that I want to talk about, and just kind of laying out exactly what my plans are for the show and stuff. So I've been planning that out. Other than that, we have a stream tonight over on 2 Cents Plus to play Borderlands, the pre-sequel. We're almost done. We're about to be done with it, and we're trying to hurry up and get finished so we can start playing the Division 2, because Monkey is having a good time without me, and I need to catch up. Yeah.
Okay, Monkey.
I did a monkey in the morning this morning, guys, and a lot of people ask me, Monkey, what happened to your monkey in the morning? Well, there was a slight mishap on the show last night. Jack has this idea that during Batman and Robin, Alicia Silverstone was overweight. Well, she was pudgy. And we're like, are you insane? No, she wasn't. And we brought up some pictures of her from that time, some of the promotional stuff. And you know how when you bring up pictures, it'll bring up like little pictures off to the side you can't really see. There was one of them that looked like Alicia Silverstone in like a bikini kind of outfit with her bat suit on. When I brought it up, I realized this is something somebody has photoshopped, and there's now vagina on my screen. Oops. So yeah, that had to be taken down. We'll be back with Monkey in the morning tonight, or in the morning, something like that. But I didn't get in trouble or anything, guys. It's just, it was a preventative measure because I don't want YouTube to have that on me. So sorry if you enjoy the show and then didn't get to watch it today. That's my fault. Scribbles.
Well, with that, we'll go on to fucketry time. Let's see. I had a couple of small things. Where did it go? Oh, let's see. Oh, yeah, this was a weird one. So NPR Music posted this tweet. I want you to think about this statement for a second. How was Bruce Springsteen's hit, Born in the USA, so widely misunderstood? It took time for Springsteen himself to figure out just what the song was meant to say. Yeah, so basically, in summary, the writer of the song did not even know what the song meant, and you're asking how it could have been so widely misunderstood.
All right, so I did hear that right. Okay.
Yeah. No, really, that's what they said. And this other one. A man found dead in January at the West Hollywood home of the Democratic donor Ed Buck died of an accidental methamphetamine overdose, the second man in less than 2 years to die there that way, the authorities said. And my response to that was 2 different deaths by the same accident at the same location. Well, okay. But I think avoiding Ed Buck's house entirely would be a wise decision in order to avoid the possibility of a third accident. Thank you, Connor Johnson. Since The Sopranos is turning 20, I want to know if any of you ever watched it. I watched the whole shebang back in the day, yeah.
I watched several seasons, but I only really enjoyed the first one. I think I maybe saw through season 3, and I was like, fuck this.
Now so after I watched my best friend of mine in the past, we haven't talked in many years now, but my best friend and we used to binge every time a new season of The Shield would come out, we'd binge that on DVD or whatever. And we ran out of The Shield one day. He's like, hey, I've got the entire Sopranos collection. And so over the course of like a week or 2 or something, we just totally binged from front to back the entire series of The Sopranos. And I honestly, I thought there was more episodes than there were, because even though I knew sort of abstractly about the last episode or the last scene and all that stuff, I didn't know it came so quick. I thought there were like 8 seasons or 10 seasons or something for whatever reason. And I was just like, boom, gone. Like, oh, shit. Okay. But yeah, it's a great show. Probably one of the best TV shows out there. It's not The Shield, but it's really good.
The Shield.
Let's see. So, Satsu, you got any fucketry?
A fucketry? Well, I did talk. Oh shit! I'm sorry.
Or is that us?
No, that was me, because I had I opened up your chat again so I can bring up the chat, and it started the video. So I heard you say what you said again, and I got confused because I'm like, oh shit, did he just repeat himself? Yeah, I was having some conversations over on Facebook about the Jesse Smollett thing, because a few people kind of, they were just like, yeah, I told you he was innocent, and I'm like, I don't think that's the case. I was trying to find something more specific. I have to bring it up. I did find out though that apparently now that Jordan Peele is becoming famous or whatever, a lot of people within the Black community, I'm doing quotes here, are saying that we can stop with the Tyler Perry shit now.
Because now you have Jordan.
Yeah, they're just like, we got Jordan. Could Tyler Perry like stop making movies now? And I'm like, I mean, they're not exactly the same genre of movies. But yeah, there was a lot of that shit going on over there. But yeah, it was just mostly for me. It was Jussie Smollett stuff. I was trying to find a specific post because I was having a back and forth with somebody, but it probably wasn't that important. So for now, no, I can't think of anything.
All right. Monkey.
Oh, I'm sure I have some. Hang on. My short-term memory doesn't allow me to tell you what they are in advance, so hang on. I have to go back to my... I wanted to do the Kamala Harris one. That's what I really wanted to do. Because with her push for teacher pay, she sent out this tweet. In 30 states, average teacher pay is less than the living wage for a family of 4. The teacher pay gap is a national crisis. Sign your name next to mine if you agree. And she has a little fucking meaningless, what do they call it? Petition. But that first part, average pay is less than the living wage for a family of 4. Now, when they figure out the living wage for a family of 4, they do that with 2 parents. It's not just one person. She's literally comparing the pay of 2 people to the pay of 1 and saying that 1 person is not making as much as the 2. Now, look, if you want to have a national argument about whether or not we need to pay teachers more, that's fine. But what you can't do is go out there and do something like this. That's dirty. That is fucking dirty. What she's basically saying is we're not paying teachers, this one teacher, as much as we're paying these two people. And so we need to raise the amount they're making so they're making as much as two people. Now, again, if that's your argument, that's fine, but be honest about it. Don't slip it in there like it makes it sound, oh my God, teachers aren't making a living wage? Because that's not what that figure means, you dirty bitch. I hate when politicians do shit like this. I fucking hate it.
What, you mean use language in deceptive ways?
Not just language in deceptive ways. A stat like that. The living wage thing, for those of you who don't know, depending on which calculator you use, the most popular one is the MIT calculator. And it figures up what you need, not just to live, despite what the name means or says, but to live a little comfortably, actually. It accounts for things like cell phones and TV plans and that kind of stuff. So you have a decent kind of living. And in this situation, the average for a four-person family is like $66,000 a year right now. And if you think teachers should be making $66,000 a year, fine, come out and say that, and give us a little more detail than your unspecified changes to the estate tax. But just come out and say that. I think teachers need to be paid more. Who the fuck is going to argue against that? Well, I would, but it depends on where they work and how well they do their job. But you'll get enough traction on that instead of trying to make it sound like they're fucking eating ramen noodles every day like me. Fuck off with that stupid shit. Anyhow, that one really annoyed me today. It really, with all the Smollett shit and stuff, because that was all going on when I came across this stupid tweet. I'm like, you're fucking up my Twitter high right now. Sorry, I just hit my mic stand, guys. But you're fucking up my Twitter high. I'm enjoying the Smollett thing. As soon as I saw the Smollett thing, I'm like, Twitter's going to be fun today. And then she sneaks in with this shit. Anyhow.
I did find the fucketry that I wanted to talk about, though.
Go ahead.
I knew I mentioned Jordan Peele earlier for a reason, because that was a part of fucketry. He made a statement when he was asked about his movie and the new success of the new movie that he put out about casting white people as the lead in any of his movies. And he said, quote, "I do not see myself casting a white dude as a lead in any of my movies. Not that I don't like white dudes," he said, at the Upright Citizens Brigade Theater in East Hollywood, but I've seen that movie. And he was referring to literally any movie with white people in it.
Because there's white people in it.
Right.
That's racist.
So I was talking to somebody about this, and in regards to the statement itself, that's completely his choice. If that's what you want to do, that's fine. And one of the criticisms that I've levied to a lot of people who are just like, we need more representation. I'm like, okay, well, become a director and cast black people in your movies then. And that's exactly what he did. And he said he's doing this because he feels he needs to close the gap between representation between black people and white people. And I'm like, okay, if you're going to do that, I am totally fine with that. If that's what you want to do, you feel like you're making a difference, great. But I should not hear from you or any of your supporters anymore that white directors need to cast black people for diversity. Like there cannot be an argument that you can make anymore, because you said as a black person, you feel that you just want to cast black people. And that's perfectly fine sentiment, right? That's totally normal mindset to have. Then you should be fine if a white director said, well, you know what? Then I feel like I only want to cast white people.
No, because he's doing it for a cause, Satsu. He's not. No, he says he's doing it for a cause, and that's the differential. A white person casting a white person, they can't say, "I'm doing it because I believe there has to be a closure of the gap." They can't say that. I mean, even if we're talking facetiously, they couldn't, realistically say that and get away with it. But in this instance, he can, so he does, I guess.
I have a couple of things to say to that. One, Jordan Peele, that's absolutely racist. It just is.
No.
But the libertarian in me doesn't give a fuck if you want to make a racist movie. Just don't get upset if people don't want to see your movie because you're racist. And finally, can we get to a point where we're hiring actors because they're good, not because they're white or black or Puerto Rican?
Nope.
Shouldn't that be what we're trying for? Not I'm only going to hire black people, because that's just bringing back the blaxploitation films of the 70s, but they're dressed up nicer. I mean, seriously.
They're basically bringing back segregation and dressing that up nicer, so why not?
Yeah, you're not wrong. Look, again, I honestly, the libertarian in me is like, fuck, if you want to be racist, be racist. I just won't support what you do.
Right.
Because that's how I think you stop racism, is you look, if you want to be a racist, make your racist movie. I'm just not going to watch it.
I want to do this one before we get into chat time, because I saw this today, and this is kind of deep topic-ish. But this is the most, if this story is what the headline purports it to be, this might be the most cuckoo thing I've read about the Mueller investigation or the aftermath thereof yet. So this comes from the Washington Post. It's an opinion piece by William J. Barber, who is president of the Repairers of the Breach and co-chair of the Poor People's Campaign, a national call for moral revival. Whatever all that is. The headline is, "The Mueller report was never going to save us. We must fight collusion ourselves."
What?
I know. Okay, now wait. If the abstract in the tweet was enough to make me go, the fuck, I can't imagine what the content's going to be. Emboldened by his Attorney General's summary of Special Counsel Robert S. Mueller III's still embargoed report, President Trump has shifted from his oft-repeated defense of no collusion to an offensive against the investigation that he has always dismissed as a, quote, witch hunt. As the saying goes, it's not the parts of the Bible I don't understand that bother me, it's the parts that I do. As we wait to learn what the Mueller report really says, we need a similar clarity. It's not what we don't know that should bother us, but what we do. Whether Trump and his enablers have broken any laws, they are clearly committed to using law to subvert the basic tenets of our social contract, the will of the people, and the good of the whole and equal justice under the law. Whether Trump and his campaign colluded with the Russians to subvert democracy, they have certainly colluded with homegrown and racist voter suppression efforts to undermine the basic principle of one person, one vote.
Wait a minute. Did we just slip into electoral college debate here?
Also, who won the popular vote again?
I'm confused.
I am very confused. Since the Supreme Court's Shelby County v. Holder decision in 2013, which stripped the Voting Rights Act of its power to require pre-clearance of voter law changes in places with a history of racist voter suppression, 23 states have passed laws to limit voting rights, according to the Brennan Center. The Brennan Center? It's no accident that Trump won those states in 2016 and proudly points to them as red states on maps designed to obscure the nearly 3 million vote margin by which he lost the popular vote. Wait, no one's obscured that. That was the entire hinge point for so many people's accusations of collusion.
Yep.
What are you talking about? Let's see. When Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell refuses to take up the For the People Act, a bill designed to restore voting rights to millions of Americans, he is colluding in plain sight with state legislatures that have been found guilty in federal court of targeting African American voters with, quote, almost surgical precision, unquote. And it should be noted that those who benefit and get elected because of this collusion support policies that hurt many millions of white people. What? Trump's collusion to subvert the will of the American people extends to a policy record that is now well established. Wait, how did Trump's campaign have any control over the laws over voters' rights in 2013?
Science?
What? He and his enablers colluded to give $1.5 trillion in tax cuts to the greedy and to increase the military budget while refusing to address the needs of the estimated 140 million poor and low-wealth people in this country.
I like that, poor and low wealth.
Low wealth. I have low wealth. Don't you guys have low wealth?
I do.
Oh, yeah.
Though the Affordable Care Act remains popular and most Americans think our 37 million neighbors who are still uninsured deserve coverage, Trump continues to collude with those attacking and undermining the ACA. The ACA has been attacked and undermined since the day it was suggested. Repeal and replace has been a mantra long before Trump showed up. What the fuck are you... So Trump is the mastermind. All these things that happened before Trump even announced his candidacy, all of them were all working their way towards his grand master plan. Is that what I'm to understand?
Yes.
Thank you, Sanguine. Tweeted my super because YouTube wants to censor. Oh, what did they censor? Well, I can only imagine these days. It's probably anything. While the realities of global climate change threaten massive displacement and death for millions of Americans, Trump continues to deny what everyone can see, joking that the extreme winter storms created by climate change are somehow evidence that global warming doesn't exist.
Extreme winter storms created by global warming.
And he's the first one to ever do that, by the way. You know, in his magic words, make the world more broken than it was 3 years ago. We cannot wait for We cannot wait for the Justice Department to catch this president in a legal misstep. Where are we going with this? Though that may well happen at some point. Our present crisis is much bigger than Trump and his mendacity. It goes to the very heart of who we are as a nation. And history teaches us, from abolition to women's suffrage to the labor movement to the civil rights era, that reports never save us. Only deeply committed moral fusion movements that resisted the lies of oppression have pushed America toward a more perfect union. What we need now is an enlightened public committed to rebuilding the infrastructure of democracy in our communities. We must register the millions of eligible voters who are unregistered and mobilize those whose names are on the roll but did not show up in 2016 or 2018. We must reclaim the moral high ground and resolve to work together beyond the puny language of left and right until we achieve at the ballot box what too many have hoped the special counsel would do for us: a rebuke of Trump's immoral agenda that opens the possibility of an America that has never yet been.
Okay.
Yeah, it's remember, guys, a court ruling in 2013 totes Trump's doing.
Trump did everything, man.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he is the most to these people, he is one of the most powerful human beings to ever walk the earth. And I'm like, just like everything else that they pump up to make it seem like it's this huge epidemic. Like, they talk about how powerful Trump is. He's just a dude. You know what I mean? Like, he's in the president's seat, but he's no more powerful than Obama was when he was in the same position. But this dude is like a mastermind. They're like, Trump's an idiot. He's a dummy. He can't do anything right. He's the worst president we've ever had. But he has also orchestrated every negative thing that has ever happened and done it professionally and gotten away with it all the way up until this point. By the way, did we mention he's an idiot? Like,
well, it's what Scribe said. Trump gets credit for everything.
Everything.
Even the wall. And I've mentioned this many times. Not Trump's idea. It's an idea he picked up and ran with.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, McCain was big on the wall before. Anyway, that brings us right to chat time. So, chat, if you have questions, comments, complaints, conspiracy no, wait, we can't do conspiracy theories anymore. That's bad. YouTube will kick us. So no conspiracy theories, guys. But if you want to talk about Trump collusion with Russia, by all means. Yeah, please put them in the chat now.
Oh man.
If you have questions for us directly, put plenty of chat marks after those. If you have statements you'd like us to consider, please put plenty of statement marks after those. And we'll get to as many as we can. Yes, Satsu.
I just saw the Streets of Rage 4 trailer, and I am losing it over here.
Okay. Let's see. Gucci Gang says, why do people assume Michael Jackson is guilty just based on accusations? Because it's convenient, I guess, because he's weird. He was weird. He did a lot of weird things that most adults wouldn't do. He was insular. If you watch Rageaholics' little trilogy of videos about the Jackson accusations and the Leaving Neverland documentary, he makes a compelling case. I didn't know much about all the inside details of it, but yeah, you know. Daniel Fullman, whatever happened to the Testicular Bill of Rights? It was a bullshit piece of quote-unquote legislation that wasn't meant to go anywhere, so it didn't.
That was a joke.
Yeah. It was a bad joke, too. It didn't even address... It wasn't even satire of the thing it was supposed to be satirizing. Let's see. Sanguine says... what? Oh, added you in the tweet with what the super chat was supposed to be. Oh. Okay. I don't see it. Or I don't see anything from Snubberth. So... Sorry, Sanguine. Sorry, Snubberth. Unless your Twitter account is something different, I guess. What is it commonly? Random American. Also, do people know we are resetting the 7 Days to Die open server tonight?
I did not know that, but cool.
Tyler Lalonde, did you know today was the deadline to turn in or destroy bump stocks? I saw something about that, but I don't own any guns, so it doesn't really affect me. Let's see. Frank Hubbard the Fourth. Could y'all sing a happy birthday rendition? Oh, sing me a happy birthday rendition. Is it your birthday? I mean, if it is, then sure.
But if it ain't,
Monkey, there's another Frank out there.
Hello, Frank.
You can be frank with him.
Frank.
Monkey?
Yes.
Are you going to start the happy birthday process for Frank?
I thought we were waiting to find out if it was actually his birthday.
Well, I assume it is, or else he wouldn't have said that, unless he's lying. But you wouldn't lie to us, Frank, right? You'd be frank with us. Right?
Okay, then. Frank. Nice name. Oh, it's his 33rd birthday. All right.
All right.
Ah, man, 33. So long ago. A decade ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Man, I hope you had a great birthday. I really do. And this one is for you. And a 1 and a 2. Happy birthday to you.
Oh, yeah.
Happy birthday.
Happy
birthday to you.
Oh, yeah.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, dear Frank.
Frank.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. I hope you had a great one.
Okay, so Sanguine on Twitter is Bullish Bera, and Sanguine said, BS Monkey, Black Dynamite was way more fly. I think he's talking about as far as like blaxploitation flicks. Black Dynamite was great. It was funny. A little bit too long though. It went on a bit too long. It was a great flick.
Okay, this headline is fucking with me. It says Rapper Tech 9 clarifies he's okay after the death of Rapper Tech 9.
Yeah, there are 2 different rappers named
I
Tech
know.
Oh, for God's
died.
Lazy as fuck.
Let's see. Kukin, 1928. Do likes boxing or UFC? Do you like? Um, I can watch either. I don't go out of my way to like pay to watch either. I'll watch like clips of good fights on YouTube or something. But I'm not like a rabid fan that I pay for pay-per-view or anything. What about you guys?
I like boxing. I haven't paid for pay-per-view probably, God, when was the last one? Probably the third Riddick Bowe Evander Holyfield fight, which was a long time ago. But I'm not as big a fan of UFC. I'm not a fan of guys rolling around on the ground holding each other tight, which is what it's become. But if you like boxing, there was a great match the other night. I forget who it was fighting. The final round, literally 15 seconds left to go. The guy who was losing the fight is losing so bad his opponent is taunting him, actively taunting him, keeping his hands down, trying to, be a showboat. When the showboater stepped forward and got clocked with a left and then a right, which knocked him the fuck out.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it was beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah, and I stopped being as excited about UFC once grappling took over. Because as soon as you get somebody on the ground, it's pretty much just a roll around session and just kind of waiting for somebody to tap out. So I like boxing, but I do like I do like mixed martial arts and watching that stuff. I actually took classes when I was younger of mixed martial arts, so I have a very novice appreciation of that stuff. But I'm not any kind of professional or anything. So
I appreciate the athletics it takes to do what those guys do.
Yes.
Because you guys might not believe it takes a fuck ton more muscle than it does to box.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not something I find interesting to watch.
Gucci Gang says, "Do you think the Jesse Smollett getting off will get rid of the white guilt myth?" No.
Can we address that for a second? I've seen a lot of people talk about white versus black on this thing. It has nothing to do with that. I think Wizard of Cause said it best. This shows people won't be judged by the the color of their skin, but by the content of their bank account.
Yes.
This is about money, guys. Money and fame, whether white, black, or otherwise. Money and fame. That's what happened here.
Let's see. Cryptic says, "Thank you, Cryptic. If he was German, he could have been Tech 99."
You get it?
Well, if you're talking about like nine, the word.
Nine.
Yes, I get it. Sarah Plyer says, "Did anyone watch the movies they were assigned?" The answer is no.
Not yet.
I don't even need to ask. Monkey didn't watch Reservoir Dogs. Satsu still hasn't watched was it Overlord, and I still haven't watched Tales from the Hood too.
Correction, the answer's 9.
Oh. Thank you, tall person. Have some money just because you have a nice smile. Hick, and I'm not drunk. You're all drunk. Okay. Well, thank you, tall person. I'll be sure to spend that money on booze. Non-Vitae Rex, favorite Rambo movie? First one.
The first. Yeah.
First Blood.
First Blood.
Others are entertaining, but as far as like actual movie goes, the first one.
It's much the same with the Rocky series. I mean, the first Rocky was such a just good story.
Mm-hmm.
Well told. And the first Rambo was just this really good story. And wasn't that one just called First Blood? Rambo was just his name. Yeah, it did become Rambo. It's just called First Blood, yeah. But then every movie after that, it was all about making him larger than life.
Right.
They're, like you said, they're entertaining, but the first one is the best movie.
Yeah, the best way to make strong characters is to make weak characters. Characters who have to overcome something. Characters who are not invincible. That's how you make a strong, interesting character. Eventually, Rambo just became a superhero, and that made him less interesting. But the first movie of First Blood, the first Rocky, and so on. Yeah, those things, and that's why even though they're bad or like worse than the first Rocky movie, when you get to the point where he's doing the training montages,
Yeah.
There's that sense of overcoming something, and that kind of adds a little bit of hype to the whole thing. And of course, the best training montage is in Rocky IV when he's getting ready to fight the Russian. So, anyway, let's see. Moving on. Devil Fruit Zero says Scribe is Drunkle a pineapple mancer? Yes. If I have to make that decision, sure. Thank you, Three-Sided Coin. In case I don't see you till next week, I'm going to the Dr. Pepper Museum Sunday in Waco. I'll tweet you a lot of pics. Oh boy, yeah, Dr. Pepper Museum. I didn't even know there was such a thing, but sure. In Waco. See, I can't ever think of Waco without thinking of a giant burning compound. You know.
No shit.
David Koresh, but yeah, pictures from the Dr. Pepper Museum. I'd be very glad to see it. Sarah Ply says, "What book would you turn into a movie or TV series?" Well, I would if I had my abilities, my magical abilities, I would take Harry Turtledove's World War series, the first 4 books, I think it was, the original series, and turn that into like a Netflix, long super series or an Amazon Prime series. Those are some of the best alternate history books I've ever read. You guys?
Well, the only like long series I've ever read was the Nameless Detective ones, and I don't think they would make good movies or series. They kind of have to be read. Other than that, I mean, like I read a lot of Star Trek books, so I mean, they've already been done.
I'd have to have read a book.
That's right. That's literate. Well, what about a manga? What about a manga that hasn't yet been turned into a movie or something?
There's one called Nozoki Ana that's really fucking good. I'm not going to tell you what it's about. If you're curious, you'll go look it up.
Okay.
I would like to see them make a Spider-Man movie.
Well, there's a new one coming, Monkey. Mysterio's in it.
I've seen the trailer.
And he doesn't have the fishbowl helmet on enough because we have to see Jake Gyllenhaal's face, apparently. I know. Suicide Grunts of America. Scribe Light, favorite war movie? If I'm being serious, The Hunt for Red October. But also Das Boot on submarine movies. You want to talk about like one of the most claustrophobic, tense, gritty. You can almost like feel the humidity in that submarine as you're watching that movie. Yeah, Das Boot. I mean, usually when I think of war movies, I think of Das Boot, Full Metal Jacket, and Platoon. Like those 3 together. If you really wanted to, and there's actually one other that not many people talk about. It's not the greatest movie in the world, but it's one that I really stuck with me when I was younger. It's called Casualties of War. Sean Penn. I think the first movie that. Oh God! I suddenly had his name and I forgot it. The guy who's always pairing up with Will Ferrell.
Oh shit! I don't know his name. I know who you're talking about.
His name suddenly escapes me. Anyway, that guy and Michael J. Fox. Michael J. Fox, Sean Penn, and fuck, it's right on the John C. Reilly. Sorry, John C. Reilly? Was it John C. Reilly? I think. Anyway, that was his first movie. It is a bleak fucking war movie. I don't think many people remember it. It's very underrated, but if you can find a copy, yeah, that if you watch that, Platoon, and a Full Metal Jacket back to back, you'll come away with PTSD. Just saying. Yeah,
I've said this about Das Boot before. That movie is hard to watch. It is. It will wear your ass out.
Yeah.
But if you're talking my favorite war movie, the one that I think is the best made, Glory. I fucking love Glory.
Oh yeah, Glory's really good.
Glory was such a good movie.
And actually, best war series is probably Band of Brothers.
Oh God, yes, by far.
Yeah,
that is better than any war movie out there.
True. Yeah, as a collection of stories, as a series of stuff, and even though they take several odd liberties with history and such, it's still an excellent series. I mean, but both series as a television series and as a war sort of quasi documentary.
The part of Band of Brothers it's really fucking weird to watch is you're watching these old guys, because at the beginning and the end of it they actually talk to the guys who are in E Company.
Mm-hmm.
And when they're doing the part where they're in the Battle of the Bulge, and you realize the one dude they're talking to is a guy you just saw his leg get blown off.
Yeah.
It's like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Sinatra says, Homecoming was pretty good.
Sinatra,
Monkey
I love you, man,
Monkey
but you're wrong. That's why you had a stroke, man.
Miss Slim 1 says, you pronounced boot wrong, Scribe. It's pronounced boat.
That's both.
Well, she is German, so very well.
We're American. We say it Das Boot.
Das Boot.
You're lucky we don't say Das Boot.
Oot the boot.
That's
Boot.
Let's
Das
see.
Boot, motherfucker.
So is it so in German then, Miss Slim? Would it be it's my duty to please that booty? That was my. I love my Eurotrash accent. I should do a whole show with nothing but the Eurotrash accent. Actually, I got an idea for that now. Okay, I'll talk to you guys about that after the show. Let's see. Sinatra says Homecoming was my favorite Spider-Man universe.
Look, man, of the movies, it's probably the second best, but it's still shit.
Maddie says Dragon Riders of Pern series. Would you like to see that, Scribe Light? I don't even know what that is. Dragon Riders of Pern? I'm obviously ignorant. Do you guys know what that is?
No idea.
No.
There you go. I have no idea. Non-Vitae Rex. Thoughts on K9 the Widowmaker? Worst Russian accent ever, Harrison Ford.
Good movie though. It's not a bad movie.
No, it's not a bad movie. It is slightly underrated, but it is so. You can't help but compare it to Das Boot and Hunt for Red October, and it doesn't match up to either one of those. So it's not terrible, but it has really stiff competition.
Stiff.
Well, submarines. Sinatra says, plus the movie didn't have some lame ass retelling of the story and no Uncle Ben story. Yuck. I did appreciate we didn't go over the origin story again. That is true.
Time out.
Uh-oh. Okay.
It is a retelling of the story. It is a lame ass retelling of the story as he's going around a neighborhood with no fucking tall buildings swinging on a web somehow.
Well, no, he stops because he runs out of buildings. He has to run through the park, remember?
Time out.
Okay.
I'm with you on the No Uncle Ben story. We've talked many times about how comic book movies, you need to stop doing origins. You don't need to do it. You really don't. I mean, unless it's a character like Captain Marvel, who literally nobody's ever heard of. But for your main characters, you don't need an origin story every fucking time. We've talked about that. So I'm with you on that. However, it is a lame-ass retelling of the story. I mean, Aunt May, who is supposed to be older than dirt and on death's door literally all the time, is Marissa Tomei. Really?
I didn't mind that so much.
I know you didn't because you got a boner.
Well, I am a heterosexual male who finds women attractive. It's true.
She's a beautiful woman. I ain't gonna lie.
She is.
In My Cousin Vinny and White Men Can't Jump. Oh God, yeah. But no, she's not Aunt May.
Okay.
You're gonna make me have a stroke.
So
You're gonna make me have a Sinatra.
Did you get a boner for the Aunt May of the previous movies?
No.
Okay.
She was old as fuck. Look, I'd do her if she needed me to, but
let's see. Devil Fruit Zero Scribe Light. Have you guys seen the tweet Monkey responded to about the Independent article where someone shared the idea foreign countries should vote in 2020? No. That's
Let me guess. It was the same people who are complaining about collusion.
Yeah, probably. Let's see. Brown coat, bows. Scribe Light, worst Russian accent to Harrison Ford. May I remind you of Sean Connery in The Hunt for Red October? He didn't try to do a Russian accent. He just talked like Sean Connery. So I don't hold a bad Russian accent against Sean Connery because he didn't try. Most of the actors in there barely tried. But Harrison Ford's really tried to do a Russian accent, and it was pretty bad. Sean Connery doesn't do accents. He just talks like Sean Connery and whatever the role. I mean, for fuck's sake, he spoke exactly like he did in Hunt for Red October in The Highlander when he's supposed to be playing a Spaniard when he's clearly a Scotsman. It's just... Anyway. Jack Gunsky says, Scribe, could you let chat know that we'll be playing Jackbox games like Quiplash and Fiddage with special guest Jim Healis on Jack Gunsky's channel after the stream? Well, I
No.
No. Jack Gunsky says, Jesus Christ, who is this Scribe guy? Stevie Wonder? Ooh. I'm sorry. I guess since I saw the thing when I saw it, because chat jumps around, I don't know. Maybe now I have to be blind to every time you put up your little notice. I don't know.
Oh, damn.
I mean, I might need a $10,000 bond to be left behind to do it again. I don't know. Nutty Barra, any idea when the next movies you should have watched will be? I don't know. Maybe and never. I don't know.
No clue.
Let's see. Frosted Glass. If you could see any two fictional strategic minds go to war with each other, who'd they be? Grand Admiral Thrawn and Donald Trump. We're talking fictional strategic minds, yes? Because Donald Trump has a fictional strategic mind, at least on the score of every fucking conspiracy theorist thinking he did something in 2013 somehow.
Apparently, he's a genius.
Tommy from Rugrats versus Dr. Doom.
We're talking versus?
Yeah, versus fictional strategic minds versus each other.
Bob the Builder versus Sandy Cheeks from SpongeBob.
There you go.
Don't ask me why.
Aaron Medley, Scribe, thoughts on Blast from the Past? Brendan Fraser. Brendan Fraser, Lisa Silverstone, Christopher Walken. It's a really good movie. It's very underrated. It's a cute little sort of, dark comedy. I think it got glossed over and set aside because Brendan Fraser was doing so many other really stupid movies around the same time, like Dudley Do-Right, George of the Jungle. So
it's also, it's not high theater.
No,
it's just a fun movie, and yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I really like that movie, but again, it's one of those things that kind of got pushed aside. Ms. Lim 1 says, how about Jimmy Neutron versus Dexter from Dexter's Laboratory?
Oh, that'd be a good one.
That would be a good crossover. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Grillin' Pirate Pete says, Tommy from Rugrats was a Time Lord. Could be. And Wepta. Rachel Constantinitis. What did you think of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse? I haven't seen it yet.
I almost bought it at the store the other day, but I was like, I'm not going to watch this shit.
I heard it was a really good Spider-Man tale. I don't know. I haven't seen it. It didn't really interest me. I got to say that I went to see Homecoming because it was a Marvel Universe movie and it was part of the grand scheme. And I'll see Far From Home, probably. Maybe not opening day. But I got to tell you, I have been so sort of burned out on Spider-Man in general ever since the Clone Saga that I kind of prefer to just keep my memories and thoughts of Spider-Man in the classic sense, and I really don't need and instinctively don't want any more material to process for Spider-Man because I have it all. They're in the boxes in my closet with all the comic books I collected up to the fucking Clone Saga.
When you said you heard it was a good story, my mind immediately thought there hasn't been a good story since the Clone Saga.
Well, before the Clone Saga.
Well, yeah, yes.
The Clone Saga itself was not a good story.
It was fucking stupid. Yeah. there's a lot of people that might like it. There's a lot of people who love Homecoming. Just as an old school Spider fan, as somebody who grew up with Spider-Man before they butt fucked him in front of all of his fans, it's just not Spider-Man to me.
Yeah, there's very few things in Spider-Man lore, and I admittedly I have not read with any consistency Spider-Man comics since the '90s and the whole Clone Saga thing. I collected a lot of the Clone Saga, thinking it was going to like end and move on, but it never did, which has really pissed me off. But if you want to see or read some of the best Spider-Man, in my opinion, you got to look at Spectacular Spider-Man. When there was this huge run where Sal Buscema, and I'm probably mispronouncing his name, was doing the art for Spectacular Spider-Man, and there was this arc where Harry Osborn broke down and became the Green Goblin again. And the arc of events that led up to the death of the Green Goblin, the death of Harry Osborn, okay, in the original continuity of things before they started resurrecting everybody. It was some of the most emotionally charged, dramatic Spider-Man and really good Spider-Man that I'd ever read. I mean, it's so good. And even though Spider-Man is at his best when he's fun, when you can take those characters and you can turn it into something that sort of transcends just being a goofy comic book and actually turn it into dramatic art on the page, it's really good. And especially when you take a character that is as long-lived as Spider-Man and still finds new ways to explore his little universe, it's great. But yeah, you'll never beat stories like that, or Kraven's Last Hunt. Oh my God. You want to talk about some of the darker, grittier Spider-Man out there? Kraven's Last Hunt was great. But I also love Spider-Man number 350, where he has to save the Silver Fox from Doctor Doom. He takes pity on the Silver Fox as an old man, and he kind of sees that sort of like Uncle Ben thing in him. And Dr. Doom's going to come after the Silver Fox and kill him for having stolen a diamond of his, or a jewel. And so he basically almost kills himself trying to save this old man from Dr. Doom. It's great. It's a great story. Anyway, I could go on. Let's see, jumping back up a bit. Satsu, is it a boy or girl? Asked Pyrus Creed.
We'll find out in 2 days.
2 days, oh boy. Peter Silik, Hades 313. Istanbul was Constantinitis. Now it's Istanbul, not Constantinitis. Been a long time gone, Constantinitis. Why did Constantinitis get the works? That's nobody's business but the Turks. Let's see. Aaron Medley, Renting Monkey, Scribe Light, ready to see Godzilla and King Kong go at it? It's if they go back to guys in giant suits, yes. If it's going to be effectively a giant cartoon, I don't care. I want to see guys in really good suits knocking down miniature buildings and cars and shit again. You can still find those things. They still make them. I think Toho Studio still makes guys in suits things, but still there's too much CGI. Kind of defeats the purpose of a Godzilla movie, honestly. Let's see. Gorebag Goes Camping. Did you guys like the early 90s animated Spider-Man? I liked it because it was a Spider-Man cartoon and it brought forth more toys. But looking back on it, it's okay.
It's okay. It's a better telling of the original kind of story, especially since then they've moved into like the Ultimate Universe and stuff in their animated series. But yeah, it wasn't horrible. I mean,
Excuse me. I know I missed a couple things. Oh, actually, maybe not. I thought there were more questions. Let's see. Necrosol says, good live action anime. Well, it wouldn't be anime if it's live action, would it?
The only good live action version of an anime I've ever seen was the original 2 Death Note movies. Okay. Those were the only ones that I've seen that were good. Everything else pretty much sucked. I haven't seen the new Death Note movie, so I can't really judge that. Bleach looked terrible. I watched some of Full Metal Alchemist. That was terrible. Mob 100 is fucking terrible. They don't do a good job with these movies, but the original 2, not the Netflix one, but the original 2 Death Note movies were actually very good.
Rachel Constantinitis says, haha, I appreciate the song about my name, but you know it's Constantinople, right? Yes, I know it's Constantinople. I was intentionally inserting your name, just like Peter was. That's the joke. And thank you, Seal77 Satsu. Check your Twitter DMs. And with that, we're at the top of the hour and the end of the show. So with Satsu's vocal flatulence, that's it, guys. Remember, over on 2 Cents Plus, in short order, Monkey and Satsu will be playing Borderlands, the pre-sequel, and purportedly finishing it up tonight. Also, because I'm Stevie Wonder, if you want to watch some people play some games with Jim Healis, go over to Jack Gunsky's channel. And also remember, we'll be on Monkey's channel per usual tomorrow night, the usual time. Thank you, chat. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. As you always do, you guys are the best audience in the world. Moderators, thanks for keeping an eye on things, even though our audience is, one of the best behaved in the world as well. Everyone who donated, thank you so much. I'll become fat and drunk on goldfish and pepper jacks, and not necessarily in that order. Other than that, anything else to say or plug, guys, before we go?
Nope.
All right. Oh, I meant to check the fundraiser for Moonshock. Sorry. Let me do that real quick, and I'll put the link in the chat again before we go. Still at 1,112, but hopefully maybe we'll see what happens with tomorrow. There's the link in the chat, guys. But otherwise, everyone, thank you for joining us. Thank you for coming out. And everyone, your lives make us sad. And we'll see you tomorrow.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Today's secret word is boat.